Good morning and welcome back to the Home Renovation Experts. Steve here on this 5x3 garden room build. Check it out. Looking lovely. So just an update for those of you who haven't caught up. Battens on, ready for the composite on the front. Just got to put a few like little ones, bits and pieces down here. The inside, walls painted, ceiling painted. Love that colour still. Get a lot of good feedback about that. It's beautiful. Lights marked up, ready for where they're going to go. And now there's a blooming great pile over there of fascia and soffit in anthracite grey. So that is what I'm going to primarily be cracking on with today. Getting that pushed in. So what I'll probably do is start the back and sides, get those kind of cracking it on. Then I'll run in the feed ready for the canopy light before then closing this up, ready for the sparky to then come and just put his bits and pieces in. So the plan will be get the soffits on, get the fascias on, and then possibly get the trim across to finish off the roof as well. See how time goes and see how we get on. But I'll show you what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it as I go through. And yeah, it should be a really good day. Looking forward to it. Soffit boards, angles, holding them up. These are just some of the many things that as trades we have to overcome. But we have the tools. Sliding miter, I think I got the name right, which is good. And jacks, which is on anthracite grey soffit board, now being held up by 3 props. So these are the same ones, if you'll notice, that I use for plasterboarding, holding up the roof when I put the steel in. They come in bloody handy for many things. But now look how easy this is. It's just there, it's held, it's in place. The angle, because we've got a rhombus room, as you can see there, I just literally took this, put it on there, got the angle marked, took that to my chop saw, set the angle, and then just took the fascia to soffit board onto it, chopped it, perfect. Set it back just slightly, as you can see, because the fascia board actually has overhang, it'll come out sort of there, so it doesn't have to be right to the very edge, and just gives me a bit of like maneuverability so this can like expand and contract as it needs to in the sunlight. So what I'll do now, the way I'll fix these is I will get my drill with a teeny tiny little pilot on it. I've already taken the liberty of marking where the roof joists are, so you just see there. So I now know that the first half of this, the first 45mm, I've got wood in there, so I can put a fix in through that centre mark, through that piece of wood, and I'll just put another one just in the sort of towards the back. Doesn't have to be like perfect for this, because obviously we're going to have the batten on here, and then we're going to have the roofing sheets which will butt up to it, so that'll just help keep everything in place as we go. But yeah, so that's basically it. The other thing I've done, I don't know if I can quite get down, I'm going to try just for you, is squeeze down it so you can see, like just there, you see the angle. Well, I finished this board on a joist edge, so that way it's not just flibbity flobbly flying around in the wind, it's still got support, which is great. And the reason it looks kind of off centre is because the roof joists are coming in at an angle, because obviously the shape of the room, because this is the wall that kind of pivots in the wrong direction, as it were. So that's that's got plenty of like support now. So now I'll just get on and get that tacked. Right, so that is the back soffit now on, looking very, very beautiful. Little top tip when you're doing the soffit boards, okay? So where I said I was going to put one in the front in my tied head, what I also forgot to realise was that you don't really want to put them there, because if you put a pin near the front and then your soffit or your fascia comes down like that and then overhangs like that, it's going to sit on that pin. So all you do is put one through the centre, you're fine, because the fascia will come round, sit like that, and that'll pin this front edge in anyway. And to be fair, it's not exactly a lot of play on it anyway, because like I say, I'm hitting one of those. Same for this end, because it is the end bit. Don't stick one in there. Don't think, oh, it's a bit flibbity flobbly, because again, the fascia will come round and secure that. So yeah, if you just watch the first part of that video and you just put them all in there, should have carried on watching in, really, shouldn't you? Cheeky smile. So yeah, so that's that done. So I'm now going to have a quick bite to eat, because it's 10 o'clock. And then I'll get the fascia done down this side, down the other side. Exactly the same technique. You can see there's the angle. Did the exact same thing with the miter bevel thingy jobsy. So that is that beautiful bit of a gap. Happy days, because like I say, the fascia will cover that. And then that's it. Then I'll be round to the front. Right, so I've got the one cut for this side. So when I say cut, what I mean is that I've got the angle cut for the back, and it's on my bit of table ready to go. So it comes over here, sort of overhangs at this point somewhere in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut that edge yet. I'm going to put this lot on first on the canopy, so that gives me then my edge, which will give me my measurement across here when it kind of comes across that I can measure and then get that one in. But what I've had to do is get the lighting circuit into this section now. So what we've done is the client has upgraded to smart Philips Hue lighting. So what that now means is where I've got my cable hanging down the back here for the fuse board, which is now getting moved over here. So essentially there is one lighting cable that comes across there along the outside and then picks up that light, across here, so those lights, back across here, back across there, back, and then the cable then just loops, comes across here, comes around just this one here, oh sorry, this one, goes down to here, and that's where it terminated for a switch. But now we're going to continue it as a live, basically just to run the ring. So then this cable, so there'll be a light here that these will both connect into, which continues the circuit. That then cable then goes across here, down into this up and down light, goes back across and then comes out the aperture for one spot, back across, into this aperture for another spot, back across, up into this aperture for another one, and for one more, and then it terminates here. So essentially, for all intents and purposes, just one cable that runs from the fuse board all the way through and picks up every single light. It wouldn't be that way if we was having switches. You'd have to sort of terminate, take to the live, and then kind of do what you got to do normally. But by going smart, it sort of yeah, just makes it sort of easier. It's pretty similar sort of amount of work really, but it's just that's one circuit just for that bit, which is nice and simple. So for anyone doing one of these at home, yeah, this is the deliberation for like even clients, you know, when I sort of say, you know, can you go smart, you don't have to go smart. And then we kind of went down a route of trying to figure out a way, because the client wanted the canopy lights to be separate on some sort of smart system. So possibly run a cable down to the house so they can have a switch outside. So when, you know what it's like, you've had a couple of beers up here or whatever, you walk down to the house, you go, oh, I left the bloody lights on. And usually you're up in your bedroom by that point going, why is it so bright? You're in the all together, and then you've got to kind of get back downstairs and then turn the lights off by coming into the room. So by putting the switch on the outside means it could be turned on and off with a two-way switch. But by going smart, it's all done via Alexa in the house. It's done off your smartphone. You can do it anywhere, literally anywhere in the world if you want to. So that's what's now been upgraded in here. So that's why that circuit is now like that. So that's that sorted. And now I can close up the soffit here, because all the cabling is in. I'll just quickly tidy it up a little bit where I've kind of run it. And then that's it, get that bad boy up. So I know what you're asking yourself, you're saying, Steve, how do you do it? How do you make it so neat all the way through? And I say, what are you talking about? You're talking about the fact that all these line up beautifully. They're all exactly the same distance from there to there, in between the gaps. Simple. I watched Liam Griffin on his channel, because I love watching the guy, he's brilliant. And top tip, grab one of your little paddle pins, and all you need to do, is if I can get the camera in the right position, is that you measure from there to there, and that's where you start drilling your hole. Can you see that? That is your marker. So you just put that on the edge of the board, that far in, done. That's where your hole goes every time. And it's easy for this line because we're just following the joist. So basically every joist is getting a nail through it. So every 400, 2 nails, done. Here, it's obviously behind where the shiplap cladding is going to be. So there's just one occasionally just to take the bounce out of it so that doesn't move anymore. And then this one will come up there, the shiplap, beautifully. And it'll look like it's just got one nail holding it in place then. I know. Oh, I know. It's clever stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's looking gorgeous already, isn't it? Lovely bit of anthracite. Look at the shine. The shine is good. So I'm going to finish that bit up there and then a bit down the side. And then it'll be a matter of jumping up and trimming the fascia and starting to get that on now, which is also very, very exciting. I can't wait. Hello. Right. Now, the side soffits are about sort of 115 wide. The final trim on this one is about 15 centimeters. So how do you actually chop it? I mean, obviously chop saw for straight cuts, piece of cake, no problem at all. How do you cut the width of it down if you need to, which you probably will. So I do own this lovely fess tool with a rail. So all I do is take your measurement, 50 centimeters from the end to the end, mark it up in like 3 places, just so you've got like a uniform mark across the whole thing. Line her up with said marks, like that. Grab them out, and it's as simple as this. So you don't need like loads of specialist equipment. I'll chat more about what you can use as an alternative to this, but here we go. Simple as that. And look how neat that cut is. Absolutely bloody gorgeous. I mean, I don't even want this bit. That's now renegade. But if you haven't got one of these, you can still do these chops. You can still use your chop saw, your circular saw, no problem. All you have to do is set yourself up like what do you call it, like a template, just kind of keep things in place. A couple of clamps. So anything like a level, something that's straight, perfect. Clamp it onto what you need to do once you've got your measurements. So once you've marked off, say in this case my 150, grab your circular saw, measure from where you know you're going to have the blade and the end of it. So this one's got about 12 mil from the side. It's brilliant, but a lot of them don't. Like my DeWalt is got a big old bit on it before you get to the blade itself. Take all that into account and just clamp on your support, and then just put your chop saw up against it like that, and then just go at it, keeping it in line with what you've got, and that will get you the straight cut that you need every single time. So simple. I mean, if you've got one of these, fantastic. If you don't, you can still do it. So don't worry about having to go out and buy loads of expensive pieces of kit. And that's it. That is now ready to be chucked up and tacked into place. Right, the soffit is now all done. So now I'm up getting ready for the fascia. So what I like to do is, if you look down here, you can see there's all this stuff, all this lovely bit of roof which is in the way, overhanging. And realistically, we only need to leave 50 mil over there. You can just see it there, so I've pencil marked it. So what I do is I grab myself a bit of band, which is generally the perfect width because it's about 50 mil. Hold it on there like so. I then run a pencil mark just underneath, which you can now see just there. So when I hold it out, there's the mark. And then what I do then is grab a pair of these scissors, pierce it, and don't even have to chop. Once you kind of got into the rubber, you can literally just slide the scissors straight down it, and you end up with a perfect cut. Now you could, if you wanted to, get this or whatever your template's going to be, just to give you that mark, and just run a Stanley blade underneath. But what I find is, when you're using wood, the Stanley blade catches, it starts to cut the wood, and sometimes it becomes a bit of a ball ache. So this is the neatest and quite a quick way of doing it, I think. So I'll run around, trim all that back, leave myself that 50 mil overhang, and then I'll start trimming up my fascias then. Oh, happy days. Okay, and here's a nice little top tip for you. Once you sort of start your fascia, leave the protective cover on for a second. And then what I do is I'll measure 10 centimeters from the end, mark a line, 10 centimeters from this end, mark on it. You can just see it, it's just there. And then I'll do roughly every 300, 300, 300, 300. Then I'll sort of divide this and mark through the center. So my center mark here is 11 centimeters, so you can see it's now got a cross. So they are all now marked in exactly the same place. So I know my nails are going to go in perfectly, all level, all even. So what I'll now do is take this, drill through there. No, I'm not doing it while the roof's on, cheeky. So once I put the phone down, I'll then drill through these, pilot them, hook it over, hold it with one hand, repilot it again into the wood, and then tack a few like nails in it just to hold it in place. I won't send them all the way in straight away, so once they're kind of just sat and about that far out, give or take, I'll then rip this crap protective stuff off. Done. Tack them home, all the way back, easy peasy, and that is the fascia on. So this way, by marking it up, and while it's lying here and it's easy to get to, it makes life a lot easier in trying to hang it over and guess where your holes are going to be, and just sort of, then you get down, you look at it and go, oh, I wish that was a bit straight, and kind of going up and higgledy-piggledy. So yeah, it's a nice way to keep it neat and looking great. So little top tip for you. And there you go. So I've got one in there, I've got one in the other end. All I did was hold it up, get it pinned, done. So all I'm doing is literally finding my holes now, like that, pilot it, just in case you hit like a knot or something stupid. Oh, put that into there like that, and then I just pull it nice and tight upwards just to make sure it's definitely pinned, and then I'll get my hammer, tack it home. Job is a good one. Easy, couldn't get any easier than that, could it? Yeah, fascia's a lot easier than the soffit part, so this should hopefully crack through quite quickly now, he says. Right, you look behind me now. You can see there are fascia boards on. It looks very nice. Look at that. So obviously we've still got my trims to do through the center to cover the joints and stuff like that. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to get up and put on the roofing trim. So if you buy your roof, your EDPM rubber roof from, what they call Perma Roof. I think it's actually Perma Roof. I'll double check. I'll put it in the link below. But anyway, Yeah, perma roof, it says on the back of it. So go to perma roof, you get the whole kit, you just give them the measurements of your roof and they'll supply it with the adhesives, like I say, and all these bits and pieces, all these trims and stuff like that. So what this bad boy is going to do is literally fit on the edge. Can you see that? Boom, straight down onto the roof. So you have to fit this rubber seal yourself. So it's just double-sided sticky tape, easy peasy. Put it on, done. I've left this bit over here. You can see it just comes with a roll. Stick it, trim it. Oh, one-handed, scissoring. Whatever works with your left hand. There you go. Get it on the end. Like that. Boom. Stuck. Happy days. Now this bit is 3.5 meters, which is good. So I know this one can go straight up because the building is over 5 meters. It's not over 5 meters. 5 meters on the build, but actually it overhangs, so it's a bit bigger. So this can go straight up. I'll put that straight on. They supply you with these poly top pins. So use their ones, not the ones that you've got that you've been using for the fascias. And highly, highly, highly important, okay? So they've got the holes pre-done. When you tack these in, make sure that that goes right in the center, okay? And do not hammer it home tight, okay? Because this bit is a bit thinner, what it does is it needs to expand and contract. It needs an opportunity to maneuver and sort of, you know, do what it needs to do in the sun and the cold and that kind of stuff. So if you go welting that in tight, this whole thing cannot move. Whereas if it's loose, the whole thing can move around and do what it needs to do. So do not overbelt these ones, okay? So before I jump up there, I'll take this plastic stuff off this time as well, just because I haven't got to pre-drill it and stuff. It's already done, so I can get up there. And when you push it down, when you get up there and put it in, it's going to apply a bit of pressure to the top of it as you're pushing it in, just to sort of, you know, push the foam down a little bit, and then that's where you're going to pin it. It's not complicated. It's really simple to do. You know, if you want more information, if you go to Permaroof's website, they've got YouTube channels showing you all about how to stick the rubber roofs on and stuff like that. Much better than my videos, my humble little videos. So yeah, it's worth a look. But either way, this is it. This is the final finish on this part of it. So once this is on, it is just really putting the trims and finishing bits and pieces on the corners and stuff. So yeah, really happy. So I'm gonna jump up there now and get this tacked. And another really good tip is that this joining clip that you get here, okay, which sits between this one and the next one, cannot be fit after it's fit, all right? So you really want to put this on now, okay? So literally, it just slides on. Make sure it's actually clipped at the bottom as it slides in. Try and see what I'm doing as I'm trying to get it done. There we go. So that is now on as far as it wants to go, okay? That's now homed. Because, ask me old man, we had a hell of a time putting it on last time. We tacked these two bits in and we got the joint. It's like, right, we'll put that on. It's like, no, you can't clip on retrospectively. It needs to go on first. It took us flipping ages to get that thing on. So yeah, it's a lot easier if you just kind of do that now. So that's a nice little tip. Obviously, once you've got your tape on and you're ready to stick it, whip that off. All of it, even these little bits that decide they don't want to come off. We'll get rid of him and all. There you go, look. We're professionals here, that's how we roll. And then literally poke that into there and then stick it down. Do you know what? I can't do that one video at the same time, so you're just going to use your imagination for this part. But basically, I'm going to slide this end into that thing, home it, then push this one down, nice and hard, tack it, done. I'll show you finished in a second. And there you go, done, 2 seconds. So now you can see it's a lovely joint between the two. Stunning, nicely tacked in. Now, I don't know if you can see, but if I come this angle, where is it? Where are we going? There we go. See, look, you can just see, if it focuses there, bit of a gap. Bit of a gap there, can you see that? So literally, this thing can move left and right if it needs to. So it's not tacked all the way home, a little bit of space. That gives it maneuverability it needs. And what it'll stop it doing it'll stop it from rippling. So you imagine this thin bit of like plastic, if it's tacked in really hard and it's trying to expand and it's pinned, it creates kind of a curvature in itself. It's kind of hard to explain. It's called, I think it's called cupping actually. Have a look on YouTube, you'll find it. But yeah, by giving it the ability to maneuver, it pretty much prevents that. So yeah, perfect. Well, that's the front of this done. So now I'm gonna run down both sides and that'll basically be this one done, minus the gutter bit at the back. So, but that'll probably get done tomorrow at this rate. And there you have it, another day done and dusted. But I think you'll agree, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? That looks a lot nicer. That's before you get all the finishing bits and trims on, but look at that. gorgeous. It's one of those jobs, people think, oh, I must fly up the fascia and soffit. It's like, no, actually, it's quite a lot of work involved to get that done. But it just finishes it, like, absolutely gorgeous. Well happy with that. And not to mention, obviously, got the first fixing for the canopy lights and the uplights as well. So, yeah, stonking day that. Right, that is it. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon because it really helps me out. And I really want to get to 1,000 likes now. I've got the bug now. I got to 500, and I was impressed that people wanted to watch what I was putting out there. But everyone seems to enjoy it. So now it's like, ooh, let's see if I can get to 1,000. I'll have a cold beer if I do. I'll have a cold beer if I don't. I'll have a cold beer anyway. Right, okay, cool, sorry. Right, I shall see you all tomorrow morning, guys. Have a great evening.